Good evening and welcome back to another weekend live edition of Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. I'm going to switch it up and put a different type of music on tonight. And as I'm waiting for you all to join, thank you so much. Thank you to those of you that are watching this video on demand. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Thank you. What's up, Karen? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Karen. We're going to be getting started in just a few moments. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. This got started a little late, had a few difficulties, but we're here. So thank you for being here. How's your weekend going so far? Thank you all for joining. Thank you for joining. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. What's up there, Bernadette? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. She said, for a change, I'm not at work, so that's a good thing. Yeah, for no doubt, no doubt. It's nice to get a break every now and then. Thank you all for joining. Tap that like button for me as you're coming in. That's going to send that alert out and let more people know we're live. Got a very important topic we're going to be talking about tonight. So this one came from the community, so I'm excited to deliver this one. This one came in from the community. Every now and then, you guys hit me up and say, Matt, can you drop some knowledge on this topic? And this was one of those. So I'm excited to drop this one tonight. Thank you all for joining. Let me switch the vibe up a little bit while we're waiting for some people. What's up, Hotshot? What's up, Hotshot? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. We're going to be getting started here in just a few moments. Just waiting for a few more people to join. I'm going to switch the vibes up just a little bit. Switch the vibes up just a little bit. Hang on just a moment. All right, let's switch it up just a little bit here. Going to be talking about sound here tonight. Going to be talking about that tonight. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. It's nice to see that every now and then. Hotshot, she said she likes that music. Thank you. Thank you. Going to be getting started here in just a few moments. Y'all, if the broadcast is coming across clear, y'all give me a thumbs up. It's looking like the video might be a little bit choppy on my side, so y'all let me know if it's coming through pretty clear for y'all. Let me know. What's up, Tor Girl? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I had to switch it up. We got 5 minutes. Okay, good. Thank you, Hotshot. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Bernadette. Thank you. It was looking like it was a little bit choppy over here, so I had to. I wanted to make sure it was okay. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We're gonna be getting started. Probably about 2 more minutes, y'all. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Come hell or high water, we're gonna get it started. Thank y'all for joining. And Tora Girl, thank you for that great suggestion on the playlist. I worked on that this afternoon, and that playlist is done. So those of you watching, I do have all of the moon videos from last year. The full moon and the new moon videos are in a playlist now, so you guys can find that on my channel. Thank you again, Tora Girl. That was something I wanted to do, and it slipped my mind. So you're leaving that comment reminding me that I needed to do that, because that does make it a lot easier than scrolling through a whole lot of videos. So thank you so much. Thank you. Going to be getting started here in just a minute. Just a minute. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully y'all are staying warm wherever you are. well, depending on where you are in the southeast. I'm in the southeast, and we got that. We're up to about, last I checked, we're up to about 9 inches of snow. So that is unusual for this part of the country. We don't typically see that much snow this time of, I mean, period, any year. I can't remember the last time we saw this much snow. So it's kind of nice. I mean, when you're in the house and you got everything you need, you good. So went out and cut the not cut. What am I talking about? Went out there and dug a path for the dog to go out the backyard and do his thing. So I just made a little path for him to do his thing and everything like that. But we're good. We're good. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get ready to get started here in about 20 more seconds. I'm gonna let this countdown go to 6 minutes, and we're gonna get started with this exciting topic tonight. We're gonna talk about parasites, y'all. Parasites. This was a topic suggestion that came in from the community. So if y'all have not done so, hit that like button for me. That's gonna send that alert out, help the algorithm push this video out. Y'all know that there's certain channels that don't, y'all know, I ain't even got to say it. So y'all, I appreciate how you guys help me out. All right. And I'm going to take the music down and we're going to get ready to get started. Those songs I was playing, by the way, y'all, that first one was a solar plexus, hanging drum, chakra balancing, tuning track. And that is by Meditative Mind. And this one, I took it up a notch to 432 hertz for the heart chakra. So this one is heart chakra hanging drum. So I like to work with that core, and because we're gonna be talking about that tonight in a little bit, not too much. But I'm gonna take the music down now, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. All right. Thank y'all for being here, and welcome back to another live stream edition of Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. For those of you that are watching this video on demand and you are new, thank you for checking out the thank you for checking out the video. Thank you for finding the thumbnail and the title interesting enough to want to explore this video. And to my returning subscribers, I wish I had the applause, the audience applause soundbite to play for y'all. I don't right now, but thank y'all for being here. Y'all family. Thank y'all. Y'all help to keep this channel going. So I appreciate you guys' participation all the time in the live chats and in the comments underneath the video after the video's over. So I really greatly and truly appreciate each and every one of you. Now, let's see what we got going on here. What are we talking about? Let's get that description box copy up, and I'm going to be showing y'all quite a bit of video tonight. Sonic Smile, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be showing you all quite a bit of video tonight. So we're going to move through it, though. We're going to move through it at a rapid pace. Y'all know how I do it. So tonight, it's real simple, y'all. We're talking parasites, physical and spiritual. Some of you know who you are. I don't want to put anybody out there. Some of you asked for it, and we're here. Some of you asked me to cover some things that have to deal with parasites. Some of it had to deal with diet. I'm not going to go too deep into the diet part, because what we need to understand is that everything is about frequency, which is why I began tonight's video by playing some sound frequencies, okay? Hopefully they were soothing to you all. Those are two that I like to listen to if I've had a rough day, or, depending on what mood I'm in, I try to play the frequency that goes with whatever the energy zone is. So if I'm feeling a little bit, feeling like the confidence is a little low, or I need a confidence boost, I'll play that first one you all heard, which was the solar plexus chakra hanging drum frequency. And it just helps to rebalance that solar plexus energy zone. And then that last one, if I had a hard day or just feeling a little down or something, I'll play that heart chakra hanging drum frequency, and it just gets me right back up. A lot of times I fall asleep to it, and then when I wake up, I'm good. So anyway, y'all, we're talking about parasites in this live stream, and we're going to be looking at physical and spiritual parasites and talk about how they affect our lives, especially our energy bodies, okay? So as you are coming in, be sure to tap that like button. Let me switch over to my notes. Tonight was supposed to be a freestyle video where I was just talking, but y'all know how it goes. Sometimes you go with it and you're like, okay, I don't want to forget this. I don't want to forget that. Something occurs to you and you're like, if it were real time, it'd be perfect. But sometimes when you're thinking about it and it's 5, 6, 7 hours before you're going to go live, you're like, all right, I know how I move. I want to make sure I don't forget that. So you end up dropping it in the notes, and then you want to make sure that everything is lined up. So that being said, we're gonna start with some foundational scriptures. I have 4 of them for you all. So you all, if you want to get out a pencil and write these down, or if you want to put them in the chat, that's fine too. She said frequency. At the end of the day, we must do some frequency. That is absolutely correct. And we're going to be talking about that. So, sound, frequency. We're going to start with the first foundational scripture is going to come from, y'all already can probably guess, John chapter 1. All right, let's get there. And I'm going to bring that up on the screen. And to my new people, I typically, the Bible app I have, the Olive Tree Bible, is I've got the King James Version app or miniature app loaded up within that. So sometimes I'll switch over to the Amplified Bible and I'll show that from a web page. But my primary one is the one I grew up with, and that's the King James Version. So, and sometimes I will translate it and update the Old English in line as I'm reading. So you'll see that. Let's get that up on the screen, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Talking about Parasites tonight. All right. Sound, frequency, sound. John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the word, sound. And the word was with God, and the word, sound, was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Without sound, without frequency, without vibration. Vibration creates, vibration destroys. So that verse 3 is all about sound. Really, these first 3 verses are about sound. Verse 3 again, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Frequency. I told you on another video, the God frequency is the highest frequency. It is an infinite number of frequency ranges above the highest angel, okay? Above the highest angelic frequency. The God frequency is an infinite number of frequencies above that, okay? Verse 4, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Light. The higher the frequency, the brighter the light. Okay. Some of y'all put a thumbs up in the chat or put a light bulb in the chat if you have ever experienced walking into a room and the light bulbs seem to react to your presence and get lighter. Put a light bulb in the chat. Let me know. Okay. So that was John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. I want y'all to put that together. Light and sound. Okay. Light, sound, and frequency. The light frequency shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Low vibrational sound frequency cannot comprehend high vibrational sound frequency or light frequency. Okay. All right. Think about that third eye chakra zone. The eyes, light receptors, and the ears, sound receptors. Okay. The voice, it projects sound. Okay. Y'all keep that in mind. The word, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Okay. I see you over there, Sonic Smile. I should put a light bulb in there myself, but I'm going to keep it because I do, but I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to keep it moving. The next verse comes from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. Okay. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. Let's go there. Thank y'all for being here tonight. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay. Why'd you say that, Matt? Why'd you put that in there? Well, because tonight we're going to be talking about something that you do not need to fear ultimately. You simply need to be informed and have an understanding. In my book back here, the one I'm talking about all the time, okay? My new book, one of the things I talk about in there with regards to problem solving is that understanding is the number one way to solve a problem. Once you understand the nature of a thing, that problem, once you understand the nature of something that is a problem, it ceases to be a problem. Understanding is instant problem resolution. Once you understand a thing that seems to be problematic, once you have understanding, the problem goes away. It's no longer a problem. Why? Because you understand it. So we're going to be talking about some things tonight that you do not need to fear. You simply need to be informed and have an understanding of that thing that we're going to be talking about, which is parasites. So, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay? You don't need to fear it. If you're new coming in, just tap that like button for me. That's going to let more people know we're live and broadcasting this very important topic. The next passage of scripture, since we're talking about understanding, comes from Proverbs chapter 4. We're going to pick up at verse 5 and read through verse 13. Proverbs 4 and 5 through 13. Okay, here we go. Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 through 13. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not. Who? Wisdom. When he says here, when it's written her here, her is wisdom. Okay? Let me read that again. Verse 5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not. Neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. When you have understanding, a thing that looked like a problem before is no longer a problem. It's right there. Verse 8. Exalt her, wisdom, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. Embrace wisdom. Verse 9. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace. When you have wisdom, grace comes with it. See that? She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace. A crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Verse 10. O hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Okay? Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Instruction and wisdom. Keep her, for she is thy life. Okay? That's wisdom. That's Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 through 13. Wisdom and understanding. And the last one, because we're going to be talking about this tonight, math comes from Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16. Let's get there. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16. We're going to be talking about salt tonight. Ye are the salt of the earth. He was talking to a specific people too, but I'll deal with that another day. I've dealt with it before. I'll deal with that another day. I'm not going to do a deep dive into that because it's kind of out of context with what we're talking about. But just know, ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its savor or its ability to do what salt does two primary things. It seasons and it preserves. It seasons and it preserves. Those are the two primary purposes for salt. Okay. So that's another way when it says if the salt has lost its savor, that's another way of saying if the salt has lost its functionality. All right. Wherewith shall it be salted? What? The earth. You are the salt of the earth. He's talking to a people. But if the salt has lost its functionality, wherewith shall the earth be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. When he delivered this teaching, there was a group of people he was delivering it to that were created to be the salt of the earth, but they weren't doing their job. So they were being cast down and trodden under the foot of foreigners on their own soil. Story for another day. Verse 14. You are the light of the world. Salt and light go together. You're going to see that in a minute. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Light. We're talking about light. We're talking about sound. Okay. All right. She said you're starting off smoking hot, Matt. Those are some powerful scriptures. It's she, wisdom, our great mother too. That's right. So let's go. Those are the foundational scriptures for tonight. So hopefully you all wrote them down. Again, they're John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5, 2 Timothy 1 and 7, Proverbs 4 and 5 through 13, and Matthew 5 and 13 through 16. Okay. Now, so let's have a little free-form discussion about parasites. Okay. Now, again, this video, the inspiration for tonight's video was an email communication that I got from one of you watching this video, one of you, the subscriber base, that wanted me to talk about parasites. They wanted me to answer some questions about parasites. They wanted me to answer some questions about parasitic foods and commentary on other people that talked about diets and things that we eat that may or may not contain parasites. Okay. So that was the inspiration for tonight's video. So let's move on now to story time. Let me sip some tea on this one. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Story time. Since we're talking about parasites, everything happens for a reason, you all. I never knew that the subject of the story that I'm about to share with you that happened years ago it happened for the purpose of me talking about this video tonight. I tell y'all all the time in this channel, there's no such thing as linear time. That linear time goes with his body in the realm of the divine, in the realm of the holies, in the realm of the most high, in the ether. There is no time. There are only possibilities and purpose. Okay. So when that thing that happened that I'm about to share with you all happened, that happened some years ago. But that was a piece to a puzzle. And the second piece to that is me talking about this right now. If that had not happened, I would not have that context to share with you all. So, story time. Some years ago, now y'all, I live with a Virgo, okay? Boss lady's a Virgo. Virgos are all about organizing things and, guys, most guys, if they're not Virgos, I know guys that are Virgos and they're very organized too. But most guys, we just like whatever, you go to the store, you buy a bag of walnuts or almonds or whatever it is. You keep them in the bag and, when they're done, you toss the bag. But when you're dealing with somebody who's real organized, they like to say, okay, this is my label for my nuts here. I got my flour here. Let's get a bin. Let's put the flour on it. Let's make a label. Let's buy a label maker and make a label that says this is the type of flour that's here. This is this type of rice. Guys be like, oh man, I got some rice in there. But when you dealing with somebody who's like really detail oriented, they're like, no, this one is the brown rice. This is the black rice. This is the jasmine rice. This is the basmati rice. Whatever. So there is a container, a sealed container that has almonds in it. Okay. And y'all know how you do. You're shopping sometimes, and if you're not using something on a regular, sometimes things get pushed to the back and something else comes to the front. Okay. And so years go by and we forget that this bin of almonds is in there. So we decide to pull it out, or she pulls it out one day, and I'm doing something else, and I hear a scream, and I'm like, "Oh man, what? She see a spider again? Let me go see what's happening." So I go downstairs, and she's like, "What's that?" And she points at the container, and it's the container of almonds. I'm like, "What do you mean it's a container of almonds?" She's like, "Look closer," and there's these worms inside the container of almonds, and we're both looking at it like, these are dry goods. This is a sealed container. How did worms get in there? All right. But nevertheless, she's all freaked out. So I take it outside. I dump it into the trash can and tie the trash bag up and take it outside so she ain't freaking out no more. Whatever. That's what I do. All right. So I take it, get rid of it. And, we I don't remember, y'all, if she threw that container out or if we just sanitized it in the dishwasher. I really don't remember at this point. We probably threw the container out, knowing her, and just bought another. I don't remember, to be honest. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. Either the container was thrown out or was sanitized. But either way, I put that in the back of my head, and I'm like, how did worms get in there? How did worms get in there? Because y'all know the way we think. We think that worms come from fruit flies landing on something, and then next thing you know, they lay their eggs and then they hatch. But this was a sealed container in the back of the sealed container with dry goods, no moisture, in the back of the cabinet, whatever. All right. So what's Matt's theory now as I come forward to answer and give you guys this presentation based on the question that came in from the community, the question that came in from you guys? I did a little bit of research and I've been thinking about this since that question came into me. And y'all, I mean, in the years since, I watch a lot of videos, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and there's always something that pops up on your For You page. Y'all know how these platforms work. If you say a word, they're always listening. So they're going to show you something within the context of this conversation they were listening in on, right? No privacy in America, but that's a story for another day. No privacy in the world, but that's a story for another day. So I've over the years, I've seen videos talking about parasites. You hear people talking about parasites, people talking about you need to do a parasite cleanse. I did that video some weeks ago, that live stream, talking about soul ties and how they're tied to parasites that you can get from an individual that you get down with. That was another parasite video of sorts. And here it's all coming full circle now. So what is my theory on parasites? This is Matt's theory. Dormant parasitic, and I'm no expert, I'm no scientist, I'm no medical professional. I'm not on here. I'm not giving anybody no medical advice. I don't claim to be no biologist or no microbiologist or no parasitologist, none of that. I'm giving you my opinion based on my observations and my understanding of my own observations. That is it. Take what you want, toss what you don't, okay? Y'all can agree or disagree with me in the comments, in the chat, whatever, all right? Matthew's theory on parasites is this. Dormant parasitic energy exists in all living things. And this goes back to that sealed container. So my theory is that dormant parasitic energy exists in all living things inside already. In the same token that parasites, why, Matt? Why did you say that? Well, because the earth has parasites in it. Go outside and it ain't hard to see that there's parasites in the soil. Okay. Tiny little worms. Y'all see them all the time. You go outside after a rainstorm, you might see some earthworms or some flatworms or something like that on the grass or on drying up on the concrete. The birds come and eat the worms, whatever. Y'all know this earth is a giant external, it's the macrobiome. The microbiome lives inside of your body, inside of your gut. Your whole body is a microbiome. The macrobiome is this world we live in. Microbiome, macrobiome, okay? Parasites exist in nature. Parasites are part of the earth element. So, dormant parasitic energy exists inside of all living things. In the same token that parasites exist within the earth element, our bodies being part earth, because we're part earth, part water, part fire, and part air. All right. And part ether. Nobody talks about that. Okay. That spiritual energy, that dreamscape that you go, that's ether. That's etheric energy. You dream because of etheric energy. That's not air. That's not water. That's not earth. And that's not fire. That's etheric energy that causes you to dream and astral travel. Story for another day. If you ain't never heard it anywhere before, you heard it here first. Okay. So we exist, we inside of us, and we are made up of all 5 of the elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So our bodies are earth, are in part are earth. Okay. Our bodies in part are earth. And so because the earth has parasites naturally, so our bodies too naturally have parasites. Some of them are beneficial and some are not so beneficial. But all of these parasites have a common purpose, as does everything in God's creation. Everything that God created has a purpose. Parasites, whether you like them or not, also have a purpose. Now do you understand why I read 2 Timothy 1:7? For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Now do you understand why I read Proverbs 4:5 through 13? Because understanding. Please understand that parasites are in everything, in every living thing. Okay? They're in every living thing. There's dormant parasitic energy, and then there's active parasitic energy. Okay? It's all energy, all frequency, all vibration. Let me keep it moving. Okay? All right. Now, what are some natural examples of parasites? At a high level, we have worms and other types of parasites, okay? And they are earth element creations, and they exist to return dying or dead material to the earth, okay? We have high level. Let me show y'all something. We on a high level, because there's high level and then there's kind of low level too. But at a high, well, let me rephrase that. When I say high level, I'm just talking about not detailed. Let me just make a macro level statement. Worms and other types of parasites are earth element creations, and they exist to return dying or dead material back to the earth. Earth. Okay. Now, let me share some search assistant breakdowns of certain things that you guys may not have considered to be parasites, but they are. You got parasites on your body. Okay. All right. So let's get there. Let me show y'all something here. Okay. I'm going to share my web browser with you all. And we're going to do that right now. Thank y'all for being here, by the way. If you're just coming in, please tap that like button. It's going to help more people to know that we are broadcasting live. Thank you. Okay. Now, I've got a few things that I pulled up, a few different types of parasites. Number one, earthworms. What is the purpose of earthworms? Earthworms play a crucial role in maintaining healthy soil by recycling organic matter, improving soil structure, and enhancing nutrient availability for all plants. They also aid in water retention and promote microbial activity, which supports overall ecosystem health. Those are earthworms, another type of worm that lives in the earth. Okay. Next, let's go to mealworms. You guys have heard of mealworms before. Let me make sure that's on the screen. Okay. Mealworms serve multiple purposes, including being a nutritious food source for both animals and humans. You won't catch me eating any mealworms. Let me just say that. And they play a role in, wait for it, waste decomposition by feeding on organic materials. Waste decomposition by feeding on organic materials. Additionally, they are used in biomedical research and can help in recycling plastics like polystyrene. How about that? Everything in nature has a purpose, including worms. All right. Now let's get dirty now, because this the word people don't want to hear if you're a homeowner. Okay. Termites are another type of parasite. What is their role? What is their purpose? Why are there termites in existence? Termites play a crucial role in the ecosystem by breaking down cellulose in dead wood and plant material. Are y'all starting to see a connection here? By breaking down cellulose in dead wood and plant material, which helps recycle nutrients back into the soil. They also aerate the soil and improve its structure, benefiting plant growth. Now, what are they? Let me hit the more thing, because I was going to go into my own little what you call it, but let's go into here. Soil aeration, pest species. While most termites are beneficial, some species are considered pests. They can cause significant structural damage to buildings, leading to costly repairs. Let's talk about that for a minute. All right. Those are the ones that nobody wants to hear about. But guess what they do? If you have moisture in your home or around your home, that moisture starts to break down and decay that wood. So termites are there simply to take that wood and return it back to the soil. Oh, you're done with it? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's okay. Well, you can't have, I mean, this wood is not strong enough to hold this house up if it's continuing to get wet. So now they don't know you're in the house. They just know it's wood. But I'm just saying that termite's job is to take that wood, eat it. Why? Because the wood is now operating at a lower frequency wet than when it's dry. When that wood is dry, it's technically higher vibrational. How do we know it's higher vibrational? Because that structure is strong and is rigid. High vibrational anything is going to be strong and powerful. Low vibrational anything is going to be weak. Okay? Even low vibrational individuals that come out huffing and puffing, man, they really doing all of that because they're weak. Right? A strong man ain't got to do nothing but show up. A strong man shows up and you feel his vibration. He ain't got to raise his voice. He shows up. His presence gives indication of his vibration. Never have you seen a powerful man, right? All right. Just saying. So those termites, they got a job to do. When that wood gets wet, it starts to rot. And that sends off a vibrational frequency that matches the vibrational frequency of the parasite that then comes and consumes it and returns it back to its source. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust, right? We learned it tonight, y'all. Let's get back on this. Let's get back to it. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Y'all know when you come to Maddie's Rap, we're going to learn something. We're going to laugh a little, but we're going to learn something too. All right, so that's termites. Let's go now to a different type that people don't consider to be a parasite, but yet it feeds on decaying material. Mushrooms. What's the purpose of mushrooms? And there are very different types of mushrooms. I know that there are edible mushrooms, but you see mushrooms in nature all the time. Mushrooms serve various purposes. Pardon me, y'all. Mushrooms serve various purposes, including being a nutritious food source, contributing to ecosystem health by decomposing organic matter, and forming symbiotic relationships with plants to enhance nutrient absorption. Nutrient absorption. How about that? The breakdown, when they go in there and they consume it, the waste that they give off enhances nutrient absorption of the soil. Additionally, some mushrooms have medicinal properties and are used in traditional medicine. There's some spiritual mushrooms too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. All right. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. I think they're called psilocybin mushrooms or something like that. Psychedelic mushrooms. Yeah. They have a purpose too. How about that? But they work on that spiritual. Actually, those are a conduit between the physical and the spiritual. But I'm not going to get into psychedelic mushrooms tonight. I've never used any, but I've talked to people who have, and I understand them because I've done a little bit of research into them. All right, but that's mushrooms. Mushrooms are the fruiting bodies of fungi, primarily belonging to the Basidiomycota and Ascomycota groups. They play a crucial role in ecosystems and human diets. Nutrient recycling. Mushrooms decompose organic matter, returning nutrients to the soil. Damaged. See the connection, y'all. I want y'all to see the connection. These parasites, their job is to deal with damaged organic material to do what? Ultimately, return it back to the soil. All right? Biodiversity support. Serve as food for various animals and contributing to food webs. Some mushrooms have bioluminescent properties, light, attracting insects that help in spore dispersal. Okay? And there's some culinary uses, immune support, and disease prevention as well. Now, let's talk about another one that you didn't realize that you have on your body. Skin mites. Skin mites. Everybody has them. If you did not have them, you would be in bad shape. Let's read this. Demodex mites living on human skin typically help maintain the health of pores by feeding on dead skin cells and sebum, though they usually do not cause harm. However, an overgrowth of these mites can lead to skin irritations and conditions like demodicosis, especially in individuals with weakened immune systems or certain skin conditions. So we have parasites that live on our skin that have the sole purpose of eating dead skin cells. They remove the dead skin cells off of our bodies. And then guess what? When you jump in the shower, you wash them off. But again, where do they come from? Do they jump on you from outside of you? Or are they a part of your own microbiome? Remember what I said in the beginning. Dormant parasitic energy lives in all things. Dormant parasitic energy. Frequency is what awakens them. All things have frequency. When you start to have dead skin on your body, it sends a frequency out that activates those skin mites and says, "Hey, it's time to eat. Chop chop." Okay? Now, dust mites. Nobody talks about those. Dust mites. Dust mites play a role in the ecosystem by breaking down organic matter, specifically feeding on dead skin cells from humans and animals. While they are not harmful in themselves, their waste can trigger allergies and asthma in sensitive individuals. Okay? All right, let me go down a little bit more on this. Dust mites are microscopic creatures, you can't see them, that play a role in the ecosystem primarily by breaking down organic matter. They are part of the larger food web and contribute to nutrient cycling in the environment. I told y'all, God don't waste anything. Everything in creation has a purpose. Decomposition. Dust mites feed on dead skin cells shed by humans and animals. So you got the Demodex mites that live on your skin, and then you got dust mites that live in the environment that feed on dead skin cells shed by humans and animals, as well as mold and other organic materials. By consuming these materials, they help decompose and recycle nutrients back into earth. It says the environment here, but they're earth element. Earth returns to earth, just like water returns to water. People wonder why water falls from the sky and soaks, or if you pour water out from a glass or a bottle and into the soil, people say, "Oh yeah, the water's going into the soil." You got to understand something. Like attracts like, and something that is a larger body tends to attract things that are of like nature that are smaller. Case in point, water. Pour that water out of a glass and into the ground. That water is just not going into the ground just to go into the ground. It is being magnetically attracted by groundwater. Groundwater. There's more groundwater in the ground than is in that glass, right? No, nobody really talks about. People talk about gravity. Oh, gravity is the reason why things fall to the earth. Is it gravity, or is it that here is a smaller earth element that is of a higher density than air? In other words, air can't push it around, and the earth is calling the earth back to itself. Water. Water, fresh water runs toward the sea, and then via rivers and streams, right? It runs, in areas where it's not dammed up, all right? Fresh water runs via a current toward the sea. You know what the current in the ocean is? The current in the ocean is another type of river that runs back to the shore. Okay, so they run back. There's this big circle. If there were no ocean currents, then people could be lost at sea. There's no such thing really as being lost at sea, because typically, if you're adrift, you are going to hit a current, and that current's going to return you back to the land somewhere. Somewhere. Currents are just rivers inside of the ocean, rivers inside of the sea. But like attracts like. So water attracts itself, earth attracts itself, air attracts itself to air. This is why bubbles, air bubbles underneath the water rise, because there's a greater body of air there. So smaller gets magnetically drawn to that which is larger. I'm gonna stop there, y'all. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop. Okay. All right. So let me keep going. I got a little bit off topic, but I wanted y'all to understand that parasites are dormant earth energy that have the purpose of, and they exist at a certain frequency. Parasites are low frequency. So guess what? When something goes from being high frequency to low frequency, parasites are activated to consume that thing and return it back to the earth. What does the earth do with it? The earth makes it high frequency once again so that it can bear fruit. You cannot bear fruit in a low vibrational state. That's for somebody. That's physical and spiritual. You cannot bear fruit in a low vibrational state. So what happens is parasites come to consume that which is low vibrational of the same element to return it back to the greater element, earth, so that it can be recycled and made high vibrational again, so that it can once again nourish or bear fruit. We deep diving tonight, y'all. We deep diving. Okay. So let me stop there. She said parasites will eat your home for real. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Okay. All right. Let's go. All right. Let me get back to my notes. Thank y'all for being here. So I gave y'all some high level examples, worms and other types of parasites that are earth element and what they do, why they exist. They exist to return dying or dead material back to the earth. Now, let me show y'all something, because I'm going to take a pause here and talk about meat. And this is why we're talking about salt. So we're going to talk about meat versus non-meat vegetables, okay? Because we got people that, there are people that swear that, hey, if you don't want to deal with worms or parasites, then you shouldn't eat meat. I hear that a lot, okay? Matt, why did you bring up salt? I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to show you a video in a minute, but I'm going to skip ahead now. Salt is actually high vibrational. Salt is high vibrational. Salt is high vibrational earth element energy, feminine energy. This is why when you go to the beach, people tell you that when they're feeling bad, they go down to the beach, they go by the seaside, and the negative ions in the air that are whipping around from the ocean waves crashing into the shore, they just produce this ionosphere of high vibrational, negatively charged ions that draw the positive ions out of your body and bring things like inflammation down, anxiety, all of these things that are of a low vibrational nature, that are positively charged ions, are masculine energy. Okay. Masculine energy attacks, it consumes, it burns, it destroys. Feminine energy heals and recovers and nurtures. Salt is present highly at the sea, at the beach, at the seaside, in the sand, all of that. Okay. So when you're talking about salt, think about something for a moment. Back in the days of the wooden ships, when they did not have refrigeration and they needed to make sure they had enough food to last the whole voyage, what would they do with that meat? They packed it in salt. The meat being packed in salt preserved it. It kept the meat from spoiling. It kept the meat from rotting. Okay? All right? Back in the day, people that used to cure pork and stuff in the South, and they would hang it up in these smokehouses. They had the smoke, they had and they had a lot of salt on it. Salt helps to preserve and cure. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its viability, it is hence good for nothing but to be cast down and trodden underfoot of men. That's a whole breakdown by itself, all right? But there's a reason why he used salt in that parable. Salt is high vibrational. It has the ability to preserve as well as season, okay? So that was meat. That was meat. That's the reason why they would put meat in salt, because the salt preserved the meat. Here you out at sea 3-4 weeks with no refrigerator, and you can go in there and get your piece of meat out of that salt and cook it and be good. Now, people say, well, you shouldn't eat meat because meat has parasites in it. I just told y'all that all living things have dormant parasitic energy in it. The example was the almonds in that airtight container. What I realize now is that those almonds were starting to break down and rot just sitting there and being of no use. There was no motion, there was no vibration of the container being picked up, moved, opened, almonds being scooped out of it or whatever, because there's a scoop in there as well. Almonds being scooped out. Now somebody might say, well, man, you had bacteria on your hand in the scoop or whatever. No, because I've had things that's sitting on top of the counter with a scoop in it for months, but it's actively being used and there's no parasites in it. Okay. So that's for all of the people that want to. I know people always want to challenge you and say this, that, and the third. I'm telling you, this was sitting under there for months. Now, dormant parasitic energy exists in all things. Okay. If that's not being used, vibration. What's one of the things they tell you when you're not feeling well? To get up and move around. Why? Because that motion helps to flush your lymphatic system. Your lymph nodes are only flushed through movement. What is movement? Vibration. No stagnation. Stagnation causes rot. I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay, that's meat. But what about the vegans, Matt? They don't. Yeah, if you should eat vegetables because they don't get parasites. Story time, real quick, before I show you this video. A friend of mine years ago, she loves to go travel. She loves to go around the world. She told me that she went to Angola, and when she came back from Angola, she said when she was there, first of all, she said the meat there was like some of the best she ever had. But they told them to listen, when you buy fruit from the market, boil it. Boil the fruit, drop the fruit, let it sit in boiling water for just a few minutes, and then pull it out so that it can kill any parasites that's on the skin of the fruit. She's like, okay. She did it every day, fine. The last day of her trip, she forgot to drop that fruit in that water and she ate it. When she got back, she had to deal with a parasite. And doctor, what happened? They tested it. It's the same type of parasite that exists on that particular fruit in that country that she went to, Angola. Okay. So where my vegans at? Parasites only come from meat? Let me show you something. I told you all living things have dormant parasitic energy. Their job is to break down decaying or dying material, tissue, whatever. All right. So let's go to the first video for tonight. Thank you all for being here. I don't want an image. I want a video. Uh-oh, let's do this. Hang on a sec. Oh, it ain't gonna let me do it. Hang on a sec, y'all. I gotta drop a video that I left out here. Okay, here we go. Showing these videos under fair use for educational and commentary purposes.
This is what we see. Ugh. I don't even. Okay. soaking berries in baking soda and water for a couple hours. And it looked like this after about a half an hour, but I had errands to do. So yeah, and so I'm gonna take them out of this strainer. See, look at this. Oh, and I'm gonna put it in here and I'm gonna rinse them off. I mean, look. I wonder how much money I've spent. Okay. So if you look at that water, do you see all that? Okay. So, yeah. Oof. Okay, hold on. Let me just take some of them. And so I've put some of them in this strainer. Look at that. I'm going to rinse these off, and then I'm going to put them on a towel. I'm going to scoop them up by my hands, so whatever is left on here is going to be left in the base. So I'm going to do that with all of these, and then once I get them out on a dry towel, we'll look at this. I have drained all of them, and this is, you see some blueberries in there. These are the blueberries that were inedible. These raspberries, and I'll put them in the container, were a 12-ounce container, so that's about a cup and a half. The blueberries were an 18-ounce container. And the raspberries were, let's see, 12 ounces. Or not raspberries, the blackberries were 12 ounces. So this here, sitting out to dry after they've been rinsed, are all of the food that one would consider edible after this cleaning process. So you note, I mean, all of the blackberries, the majority of the blueberries, but we have 3 raspberries here. And they, let's see, you can see they look pretty clean after all of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in the container and show you what is left. So these are what I picked out from this, what did I say, 12 ounces. These are not seeds. I will show you in a second. You'll see what seeds look like. But I just purchased these yesterday. They arrived at my house at 8 o'clock last night. So this is after soaking in baking soda. To prove that these are not the seeds, I'm going to come over here. So this is what I just could not deal with, like, getting out. You can tell if the raspberry was kind of like falling apart and there's seeds. But I want to show you these little things right there. They are not seeds. This is all the stuff that came out of it and was in my salad spinner that I had filled with water and distilled water and baking soda. So you can see, here we go, like, ugh. And I have blueberry juice on my hands, but that's not a seed, okay? So keep in mind that we're supposed to have 12 ounces in here. This is what I put back into the container, and then I'll do another one so we can total it up. Have the yucky other sludgy stuff. So 3 ounces. So it does total 12. That's pretty much that I got everything. Yeah, so look at that. Some seeds, some worms. But this is what happens after you clean them. And this is the other side that you didn't see earlier. This is what our grocery stores are selling to us.
Okay, Lady Dagger Status, I saw your comment. I'm going to put it up on the screen and I'm going to show you something. Because I saw this earlier. I didn't include it in my video slate for the night, but I think I probably need to show it. I used to wash with baking soda and vinegar too. But when I saw this today and doing my research, I was like, interesting. Let me show you this. I'm going to take a side step here for just a moment. Thank you for, let's take this off the screen. See, y'all, this is why I like to go live here. She says, I have a blackberry and raspberry bush and I don't spray anything. I still do a baking soda vinegar wash. Now, let me show you this. Thank you for adding that, because I used to do the same thing. But when I saw this, I was like, the proof seems to be in the pudding. Let's take a little side street there. Let's go down the side street. Y'all know, every now and then I'm gonna take you down the side street. Here we go. Yeah, so it I still think it helps to remove like maybe pesticides and that sort of thing, but for parasites, I think what's happening is the baking soda and the vinegar counteract each other, because you got an acid and an alkaline, so they kind of neutralize each other. So the benefits of killing the parasites are neutralized because those two compounds neutralize each other. Now, I did see a video, and I looked at a bunch of those videos from that particular TikTok channel. Apple cider vinegar by itself didn't kill the parasites. However, baking soda water did. When they dropped baking soda water on the slide, baking soda killed it. Baking soda is alkaline and it raises the vibrational frequency. We're gonna talk about that. Y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love coming on here with y'all. I really do. So that was the fruit thing. That was the fruit thing. She said that makes sense. They do have these device things, but I haven't gotten one yet to try it. Okay, so and I'm gonna go through all of the comments at the end, y'all. So let me get back on this. So I wanted y'all to see that. Now, decaying or dead material, you got to remember, I said this earlier, decaying or dead material vibrates at an extremely low energetic frequency. The high frequency range energy enhances things that are naturally high frequency. Like attracts like, things that vibrate at the same frequency magnetize toward each other. So something that is high frequency energy is going to enhance other things that are naturally high frequency. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be high frequency. Sometimes high frequency, and we're going to be talking about the spiritual nature of it in just a minute, but sometimes high frequency things go low frequency for whatever reason. But high frequency, when you're talking about live material, high frequency energy enhances things that are naturally high frequency. But here's what it does to things that are low frequency naturally. It works against them. Something that is high frequency energy is going to enhance something else that is naturally high frequency, and is on the converse is going to work against something that is naturally of a low frequency. On the flip side, something that is low frequency is going to enhance other things that are low frequency, and they're going to work against things that are naturally high frequency. Now, they're not going to be successful unless that thing that is naturally high frequency drops its frequency. That's when something that is low frequency can get at it. Now, why do y'all think I'm always on here talking about keeping your emotional frequency ranges high as much as you can? You're not always going to be high frequency emotionally, but you don't want to stay low. When you stay low, you're sending out that signal that's going to attract other things that keep you in low frequency. When you're high frequency, you're going to attract things that are going to keep you in that high frequency range. That is how magnetism works. Okay. So, all that said, high frequency energy, high frequency vibration is the number one way to repel both physical and spiritual parasites. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about spiritual parasites a little bit. Spiritual parasites, in my opinion, in my understanding, in my observation, Spiritual parasites serve a similar purpose as physical parasites. What do you mean, Matt? Physical parasites have a job to they have a job to do. They return decaying matter back to the soil. I think that spiritual parasites do the same thing. I think that spiritual parasites feed on low vibrational spiritual energy. Okay. They are, first of all, they are low vibrational spiritual energy, and they exist to, if the individual is dying inside, okay, spiritually, if they're low vibrational spiritually all the time, they're going to attract these low vibrational spiritual parasites that speed up the process of returning that energy that is that person back to the ether, back to the spirit realm. Think about it. Something that is low, something that was created to be high vibrational in nature, that is now low vibrational, it attracts, the frequency level attracts low vibrational parasites that start feeding on it and break it down, and to the point where it has to be returned to the soil. Once it's returned to the soil, it gets recycled. Well, guess what? As above, so below, as within, so without. So if you are an individual that is naturally high vibrationally spiritually, but you're in low vibrational energy, you start attracting low vibrational individuals, low vibrational energies that do what? They feed on you. And their job is to speed up the process of returning your damaged spirit back to the ether to be recycled. But I didn't get to do everything I came to earth to do. Well, buddy, you better try to raise your frequency real quick to get that low vibrational thing off you and stay high vibrational so you can finish up the work that you came to this earth to do. Because if not, when your spirit is recycled and returned to the ether, if your work is undone, then when you're recycled, you're going to have to come back and start all over again. Are y'all seeing how this works? Are y'all catching what I'm putting down? So that's my theory on spiritual parasites. They have the same purpose as physical ones. Walk around low vibrational for a long time if you want to see what you start attracting. Now, there's another type of spiritual parasite known as an energy vampire. They're a little bit different than the one I just talked about, because the energy vampire, they want to proselytize high vibrational energy that is simply caught vibrating low. Proselytize, Matt? Proselytize, that's what religions do. That's what Christianity does. That's what they want to convert you and bring you into Christianity. Like their job is to go out and bring people to Christ, bring people to the church, bring people into the fold. I ain't talking about Christians, but I did use the word proselytize because energy vampires, they have that same job. Their job is to proselytize high vibrational energy that is vibrating low and transmute it into dark energy. I'm just talking about energy vampires. I ain't talking about, obviously, Christians, if they see somebody down their luck, they want to, hey, brother, let me help you. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about energy vampires. A lot of y'all have had energy vampires try you. Let me try this person. Let me try him. Their job is to bite that high vibrational energy that's operating in low vibrational energy or feeling in low vibrational energy for some reason. They want to come and, oh, that person, they normally high vibrational. I can get them now. Let me try them. Let me see what type of energy they're in. Their job is to transmute you into dark energy. That then, and then once you become dark energy, you go and look for other high vibrational energies to attack and turn them into low vibrational energies. And you can only get them when they're vibrating low. When they're vibrating high, you repel them. Just like the video I saw of them Buddhist monks, I saw when they were in Texas, there was a dude out there holding a sign, trying to witness to him and tell him why he was going to hell if he didn't accept Jesus Christ. He like, why do I have to? He said, because he died for your sins. He's like, that's your belief. He said, I'm just out here walking for peace. I do something different. I got a different set of beliefs. Thank you. Have a nice day. And he kept walking. He tried them, but he's vibrating too high. A lot of them guys are vibrating near that. They're trying to get to enlightenment. So a lot of them are in that contentment, that joy, that peace, that love frequency, and they're striving to get to that enlightenment, that Christ consciousness. So when you vibrating high, them energy vampires might try you, but you repel them. Proverbs, answer not, 26th chapter, I think it is. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. But also know when to answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. All right. So That other spiritual type of parasite is known as an energy vampire, and their job is to try it with high vibrational energy that is vibrating low. And then why? To transmute them, turn them into other dark energy. Do you ever see an energy vampire attack somebody who's another energy vampire? Somebody already do mean girls attack other mean girls? For my ladies watching, no. Most of the time they don't. They attract or they try it with who she thinks she is. And when you in the clique, they ain't bothering you. You already in the clique. Y'all ever seen that show, The Walking Dead? You ever see a zombie go bite another zombie? They don't bite other zombies. They don't. They're already a zombie. They want something with life in it. Okay, that's another type. Okay, so they look for all the high vibrational energy that is caught vibrating low and try to turn it into darkness that can then attack other high vibrational energy. This is how it happens. You're having a good day. Somebody come and do something to ruin your day, and the next thing you know, you go from being to, and then somebody, hey man, what's wrong with you? You normally got, man. Let me tell you what happened, man. Well, guess what? Hopefully, they ran up on another high vibrational person that said, man, it ain't like that. No. This is what you can do with that. Or, man, what? They did what? Man, they shot who? Man. And then next thing you know, he going to go tell somebody else, man, they shot, man, the cops beat up Rodney King. They did what? That's how energy vampirism works. You know what, man? That's messed up, man. You know what? I'm going to pray for him. I got something I got to do, but I'll pray for Rodney King. Thank you for letting me know. I'll keep him in my prayers. That's how you repel that. What, you ain't mad? Man, I ain't got time to be mad. I can't bring my day down. I got stuff to do. Sometimes you turn somebody else around by being that attitude. Wait, I ain't got to be mad. Nah, man. You can empathize with that and be like, I wish that hadn't happened, but you know what? Stay on your course. That's how battle works. It's spiritual warfare. If you got 10 soldiers going into battle and one of them get dropped, and then the other 9 got to keep going on. They like they shot it. Now the whole unit breaking down. Now the mission can't be achieved. Mission objectives can't be achieved. So anyway, I just wanted to give y'all those 2 examples of spiritual parasites. Spiritual parasites are very real. I think they work the same way that physical parasites do. Physical parasites return decaying material back to the soil, back to the earth. Spiritual parasites, they exist to return decaying spirit back to ether. Okay? That includes what's another type of spiritual parasites? Demons. Let's call it what it is. Low vibrational entities, demons. They if you're a high vibrational entity and you down that low vibrational realm, them demons gonna scare you back in the high vibrational energy, or they gonna worry you to where you return back to the ether and you check in with your work undone. It ain't nothing to be afraid of, y'all. This is why I read in the beginning, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. God has not given us a spirit of fear. We ain't here to fear. We're here to gain understanding. Okay. So now that was spiritual parasites. Let me talk about sound frequency, because I read John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the word. The word is sound and vibration. What y'all are hearing going through this microphone right now is sound and vibration. What I'm hearing in this glass desk and the walls, when I talk, my voice just resonates. I'm hearing the walls vibrate. All right. Sound and vibration. Okay. So in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. John 1 and 1 through 5 is all about sound and vibration. When you talk about God, God is the highest frequency, highest vibration frequency. It's infinite. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that sound frequency, because we're talking about parasites, right? And ways to deal with these parasites, ways to deal with them. What Matt knows, based on what I know now, I think vibration is the number one way to deal with them. Vibration, but being at a high vibration. Okay, let me play this video for you guys. There's this person I'm going to show you. He talked about how he used sound to cure. I ain't supposed to say that word on this platform. He used sound to deal with the C word, a type of C word that he was dealing with that was a very dangerous type of C word. He used sound frequencies to deal with that. His account, not mine. And I'm not giving medical advice. This is not medical advice. Let me roll the tape. This guy's name is
a lot of worms. If you're on a fast and you're fasting and you're on a diet and you get a headache, you got the headache because the worms are all peeing, trying to get you to eat something else. They're trying to make you sick so you'll get off of what you're doing and start eating. So you take some arginine and orthodine in a matter of 20 minutes. If the headache's gone, you've neutralized the worm urine and you know that you're loaded. All children that have little tiny pimples on the backs of their arms or little tiny pimples here on the edges of their cheeks have 5 varieties of critters in them. 5 varieties. It's time to deworm and it's time to get them out. Now what I found out is that vibration and frequency is everything. It is literally everything. If you take an aspirin, it changes the way you vibrate. And so it blocks the nerves so that you can't feel pain. If you take deworming programs, you change your vibration, and you change your vibration so dramatically that the worms and parasites either have to get out of you, this is no longer a good home, or they die in you. And then your lungs and your liver and all that stuff handle it. And you do it with water. And out of all of this, I handled my cancer, my stomach and esophagus cancer, which is a terminal problem. I am the only, that I know, survivor of stomach and esophagus cancer in this nation. I'm the only one that I know. All right? I did it with frequency. A man by the name of Royal Rife in 1934 had a microscope and invented a particular device. I found one of his original devices. I used it, and it got rid of my cancer, and I haven't had it since.
Y'all put a thumbs up in the chat if you have heard, because there's a lot, I'm hearing a lot of commentary these days regarding the link between the C word and parasites. Y'all put a thumbs up in the chat if y'all have heard that. All right. If I see 2 thumbs up in the chat, I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what my current thoughts are now as someone who has dealt with the C word, someone who's dealt with a very rare form of the C word myself. Okay. Tora Girl said, yes, I have right frequencies. Okay. Sonic Smile gave me a thumbs up. I like that. I like that. Yeah, Rife. Okay. All right. And I got a thumbs up there. Okay. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tie this together for y'all. Okay. A lot of you have heard of the link between parasites and the C word. You've heard people say things like when they go in to do biopsies, they jailbreak the sac that the body creates naturally that it forms to block in those parasites. Okay. And so when they see these quote unquote tumors, a lot of people are saying that these are prisons that the body creates to trap them and keep them from spreading. They're these solid walls of protein that the body creates and wall them off so they don't do more damage. Okay. You've heard things like this. You've also heard of things like tumors growing blood vessels and robbing healthy organs of the blood. Now, understanding how the link with the C word and parasites, you understand that these parasites are feeding. Well, what do we know about parasites? Parasites exist to return decaying matter to the soil. So what perhaps nobody is talking about is the possibility, YouTube police, the possibility that perhaps things that we do to our body cause damage to the tissues. Those damaged tissues then begin vibrating at a frequency that awakens the dormant parasitic energy that exists in all of us and says, hey, there's some damaged tissue. That damaged tissue is not recovering. So therefore, we need to activate and begin feeding on that damaged tissue. Now, when I was dealing with the situation back in the day, one of the things I heard a lot of when I was doing my own research is the C word cannot live in an alkaline body. People would say that if you are dealing with the C word, then people would say that you perhaps have a body pH that is lower than 7. 7 is the balance, the pH balance. 7 is considered to be neither alkaline nor acidic. It is considered to be neutral or balanced. So it is said that if you have a body pH that is in the 7 point whatever range, you are considered to be in the balanced range. Once you get above that 8 pH, then you are considered to have an alkaline body. If you fall below the 7 pH range, then it is said that you have an acidic body. So when you hear people say things like the C word cannot live in an alkaline body, and you make the connection with parasites, then what did I tell you, Tora Girl, about the other? Not Tora Girl, sorry, Lady Dagger Status. I saw the other video where they were breaking down. Okay, because when I saw the whole vinegar and baking soda and how it did nothing, I don't have this video in here. I don't think I'll have to go through. I'm gonna show you guys all of the versus videos that I downloaded at the end of this presentation. So that'll be at the end. But I remember seeing the one where the baking soda and the water neutralized those parasites. What does baking soda do? Baking soda raises the pH of anything because it is alkaline. If you got acid ash on your battery terminals in your car, you can take some baking soda and water, mix that baking soda and water and pour that on your battery terminals and watch it eat that acid up. It'll neutralize it. Okay? So, what do we know? If we know that parasites exist to eat damaged organic material or material that is decomposing, then the next question should be, what am I doing to my body that is causing the tissues to break down and not be healthy? Because if I do not reverse it in a certain amount of time, I could potentially be dealing with said parasites that are going to be diagnosed as the C word. How about that? How about that? Something to think about. Something to think about. Okay. So that's on the physical side. He said that he destroyed it using these rife frequencies. Okay. But you got to understand something. Okay. You have to understand something. When you are done destroying this round, remember, parasites are awakened by low frequency energy that says, hey, there's something that is breaking down. Come find the source of that low frequency energy and eat it. Return it to the soil. Okay. But guess what? If you do not figure out what was causing the tissue damage to begin with, you're only going to be dealing with the same thing again. This is why certain people, you hear them, oh yeah, they overcame such and such twice, 3 times, 4 times. You know what? They probably did not cease the behaviors that were damaging the tissue. Okay. Is it just that you're eating foods that's another story. I'm gonna deal with that. Okay. Because I saw the comment in there about pork. What you need to understand about pork is a low vibrational meat. It is low vibrational. If we stop thinking about it in terms of parasites and start thinking about it in terms of the frequency of that particular food product, see what I'm saying? So let me keep it moving. Y'all. I could spend a lot of time on that. Alone. All right. So let's deal with the spiritual now. Because John 1:1 in the beginning was sound, frequency, and vibration. Okay. And the word and the sound, frequency, and vibration was with God, and the sound, frequency, and vibration was God. Okay. Let me deal with that sound now, because now we get into the spiritual part. Let me show you a video.
I know I was not the only one that grew up with this super flattened version of the biblical idea that the enemy knew music, right? It became secular music is bad, church music is safe, and anything that talked about violence or sex was the problem. But the problem is they treated it as a morality issue instead of a mechanical issue. So to know music, it is not just to enjoy songs, it's to understand structure. And music theory is not art first, it is pattern intelligence. So think rhythm, harmony, tension and release, anticipation, repetition, resolution. And now the gag is, those are not musical ideas, y'all. Those are nervous system instructions. So check this chart out, okay? This is a frequency of musical notes. And every note is a frequency. And every chord is the relationship between those frequencies. And every progression is the movement through emotional states. So this is a common progression chart, right? Kind of shows how the notes move through their patterns. And the thing is, your body doesn't hear music as lyrics first. What happens is your nervous system receives it as timing, pressure, expectation, and release. So that is why a song can make you cry without knowing the language, why a beat can make your body move against your will, because you already know when the beat drop. And it's why a melody can pull a memory forward in an instant, right? That is resonance. That is not belief. So emotions are oscillations. They rise, they peak, they resolve, or they get stuck. Trauma. So y'all, music mirrors this perfectly. You have a minor, which is unresolved or feels inward. Then you have a major, which feels like resolution or more outward. Then you have dissonance that feels like tension. And then harmony that feels like safety. And someone who understands this can evoke emotion on demand. And not by persuasion, by entrainment. And y'all hear me talk about entrainment a lot on this page. Now y'all, this is the part that most teachings will skip, but I won't. And that is, if you can move emotions reliably, you can move people. Because relationships are not built on logic. They are built on emotional rhythms. Anticipation, validation, withdrawal, reunion, reward. How do you think these narcissistic relationships continue and stay on a loop? That, y'all, is the same structure as a song. And y'all, this is why nervous system control is the real hijack, because when someone understands music theory, frequency, emotion, relational rhythm, they understand how to create longing, how to delay satisfaction, how to trigger attachment, how to redirect desire, and how to normalize dysregulation. And this is all without consent if the listener is unaware. Before I wrap up, I want to show y'all this article on oscillation and entrainment and coupling and all that good stuff with neurons. So let me just show you the context of this article, okay? It says rhythmicity is an important feature in living organisms and their environment, okay? That part is important. Entrainment enables coordination of rhythmic activities between them, so the organism and their environment, right? Entrainment is defined as the alignment of one or more oscillating systems to an external rhythm, whereby the interactions are unidirectional, and that is, external rhythms influences the oscillating systems, but not vice versa. So basically, the outside system influences the living organism. And then it says, the entrained oscillating system becomes enslaved, by the rhythm of the driving force. And the two rhythms become effectively coupled.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? I can't even think of the girl's name that everybody always references when I do like my ether videos and I talk about like electromagnetic waves or radio frequencies and all of that stuff. But yes, especially when I did my God Body series. So y'all, this is why the danger was never just bad lyrics. The danger was unconscious entrainment. In church music, it was never safe because it was holy. It was safe because it was predictable and regulated. So you get call and response, you get known resolutions, shared tempo, and group coherence, which is harmony, right? Come together on one accord. It stabilizes your nervous system. Shared coherence stabilizes the nervous systems. And that's why it doesn't make it the only safe music. It basically just reveals what safety sounds like. And that may explain why when I was going to church, the time that I truly felt connected, right? It was always during praise and worship. It was the music, it was the singing, the unison, right? And then offering always followed. So when the text says, the enemy knows music, it is not saying music is evil. It is saying whoever understands resonance can steer the untrained. Not through force, but through feeling. Music ain't the weapon, ignorance is. And resonance literacy is the difference between being moved and being moved without consent. And once you understand that structure, you stop being programmable. You start choosing what you're entrained to. Yeah, I know, because I love music. Y'all still here? If you're still here, then that means you really mess with my content. You watch it all the way to the end. You know what? Comment circle in the comments and I will give you free access to the inner circle. And not only will I give you free access to the inner circle, I'll have a freebie waiting for you. All right. I'll see you on the inside.
Y'all, I checked some of her videos out. She's got some pretty cool content. But do y'all get it? Y'all get it now? So why did I bring that up? It's very simple. And I saw your comment. Let me go back up to what Tora Girl said. She said, Matt, the right frequencies does bring the frequency of the organs back to its original hertz. Exactly. So y'all noticed, some of you that were on early, you noticed that I was playing the solar plexus chakra hanging drum frequency, and I followed that with the heart chakra hanging drum frequency. Those are two that I listen to a lot, just depending on what I have going on. If I got something where I feel like, okay, I need a little confidence boost, or I'm not feeling as confident about something, I know that confidence comes from that inner sun, which is the solar plexus, or that strength comes from that inner solar, that inner sun, which is the solar plexus. Sometimes I'll play those frequencies before I go to the gym. Sometimes I'll play it before I go out and start doing some yard work when I kind of didn't feel like doing it, but I'm like, I know it needs to get done. So I'm like, okay, my solar plexus chakra is a little bit weak. Let me tune it back up. Listen to that just long enough to where I feel my body getting up and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let me go do this. That's that solar plexus one. Yellow is the color of the solar plexus. So this color has its own frequency. So y'all got to understand something. A lot of times you see people that have different conditions going on. It has to deal with that sound and that frequency, and the frequency of whatever organs rest in that particular chakra zone being out of alignment, out of frequency alignment. Now, your emotions can pull your chakras out of frequency alignment if you do not manage them, if you are not mindful of what your emotional state is. This is how you hear these stories of people. They're like, man, that person, I hear people say, man, I'm gonna keep drinking my liquor, smoking my cigarettes, whatever, man, because man, this guy down here, man, he jogged 10 miles every day, man. He ate healthy, he clean diet, whatever, man, and he died from the C word. He could have been in an emotional state that lowered the frequency of a particular chakra zone, perhaps, that brought the frequency of the organs in that region down to the point where they were giving off the signal that said, hey, emotionally, remember, things begin in spirit and manifest in the flesh. So here's a person that could have had a perfectly good diet and they're still dealing with these quote unquote parasites, but it began as a spiritual parasite that began to work on the body and then cause the appearance or the awakening of the dormant physical parasitic energy. So those sound frequencies, you're absolutely right. They can bring you back into alignment. However, if you do not deal with the source, it's just going to go right back down. You got to deal with that source. What is causing this problem? You have to deal with that source. It's called entrainment. She talked about that a lot in that video. Yeah. So I wanted to play that so that we understand how these things work. Now, why is the other reason you play that, Matt? Well, because if we know that certain frequencies can bring our body back into alignment, back into its natural frequency alignment, you got to wonder to what degree the enemy is sending out sound frequencies that work against our physical bodies to lower the frequency. It's all about the water. It's the water that helps with the vibration. It's the water that helps with that vibration. That's why they tell you to get up and get moving. Get up and get moving. Exercise, walk, get up. You feeling bad? Get up. Go take a walk. Go breathe in some oxygen, whatever. Okay. There's some other stuff you can look at, like and I'll do this in another video. I don't have time tonight, but the sixth house of your natal chart is ruled by Virgo, which rules over the gut. Okay. So if you want to start looking into what is the optimal way for me to manage my gut health, look at the element that is your sixth house. For example, I'm a sixth house Aries. That's the fire element. Okay. So I ain't gonna get into that. I'll do it in another video. Because I'm tempted to go off down a tangent, and I don't want to be all night with y'all. So let me leave that to another day. I'll talk about that. But your sixth house talks about your health, how you deal with health in your body, how you manage your health. Look at your sixth house energy. Your eighth house, that's the other one. What's the eighth house, Matt? The eighth house is how you recharge and regenerate. Look at the energy of your eighth house. I did a video on that some years ago. So let me keep this thing moving. I think that sometimes they send different sound frequencies out that listen, the other video I did talking about 440 hertz versus 432 hertz. All of this comes together, y'all. All of this comes together. Those frequencies, they work, y'all. If you're feeling sad, I promise you, listen to some heart chakra frequencies and watch your mood change. If you're feeling nervous or unsafe or something like that for whatever reason, or you feeling like, man, my money's kind of, listen to some root chakra frequency energy and watch how your mood changes. This stuff is real, y'all. It's real. It's real. I think sound is the number one way to deal with quote unquote parasites. They vibrate listen to the guy that talked about the right frequency. I saw somebody else in here that mentioned the God frequency being at 963 hertz. Listen, there's another one that deals with parasites, the 1150 hertz. 1150 hertz, you'll see that a lot. They'll say 1150 hertz destroys parasites. It is, the frequency of it is so high that it shakes, that the frequency of those parasites is so much lower that it cannot handle the vibration that's coming into it. So it causes the breakdown of the membranes of. All right, I think, do I have a video in there? I don't know if I have a video of sound breaking down one of the I'm not sure if I have one, but they use the example of the opera singer singing the high C and then breaking glass. That is what that 1150 hertz frequency does to parasites in your body. Okay, let me keep going. Hot Shot said if her toe hurts, she wants to know why. That's funny. Okay, so now let me show you guys the verses, these different videos where they talk about different substances that can help with, dealing with parasites, because it is what you put in your body too. And one of the things I've started doing to manage my health some years back is identifying what I consider to be low frequency foods versus high frequency foods. Okay. When you put high frequency foods into your body, you're taking in high frequency energy. You're taking in high vibrational frequency energy, just like with music. When you listen to high vibrational music, it raises your energy body. It raises your mood. It raises your frequency. When you watch high vibrational video content, or you take in high vibrational images, that raises your frequency. This is why I tell people, y'all, I know this sounds so vain, but this is why I tell people, look your absolute best. Look your best as much as you can when you go out. Why? Because you are being seen by everybody that sees you, and you never know whose day you might make just by showing up looking beautiful. I've seen it happen for me. I've been, man, today sucked, man. Golly. Oh man, this happened at work, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? I'm gonna run ahead. I'm gonna run in this supermarket, grab a few things, and then head on to the house. You know, you just like, man. And then I see a sister or somebody just look like she took her time with her look. And I'll be looking at her like, thank you for showing up today. My mood is better. Instantly. Why? Because I saw a high vibrational image that raised my mood. Somebody's, hi, how you doing, man? Hey, man, how you doing, man? God bless you. Have a great day, man. Man, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. I'm glad to see you, man. Sound. That high vibrational energy coming off that person, they so glad to see me, raises my mood. On the flip, get somebody to call me, man, let me tell you what happened today, man. I can't hear that. I'm having a great day that's gonna lower my mood. I can't do it. Sound. I don't want to see it. Don't send me no video of somebody getting run over by a car, nothing silly like that. Or these videos that they're propagating around the internet and around social media showing people getting shot and all of this stuff. Don't look at that stuff. That stuff is designed to lower your frequency. When you lower your frequency, it affects some organ or some chakra zone in your body. What does that do? Now you're dealing with issues. Oh, don't wake them parasites up. Everybody has dormant parasitic energy inside of their bodies. We all have healthy, like for example, bacteria. You got healthy bacteria. Healthy bacteria help to destroy or break down the unhealthy bacteria in your body. But guess what happens when you don't feed the healthy bacteria and you're feeding the unhealthy bacteria? We didn't even deal with the parasites. We deal with the bacteria. What does that do? Now you got gut problems. Now your breath stink. Now you're farting. And I ain't farting, it's natural, but now you're farting, it's like, oh man, who is whatever. You know what I mean? You got to keep that microbiome in its proper balance. Feed what is healthy inside of your body, because you're just I heard this person say this. We are all just walking petri dishes. We're walking petri dishes. That's what they say. You eat things that are low vibrational, it's going to bring you down. You eat things that are high vibration. This is why, and I don't knock when anybody else is eating. I don't knock when anybody else eats. Why? Because what did the Messiah say to the religious establishment that was browbeating people about dietary laws and things that they're supposed to eat and what they shouldn't eat? There are plenty of people that eat things that are in alignment with dietary laws, but they low vibrational people. They wicked. They're always riding somebody. And then you got people that eat things that go against high dietary laws, but they ain't mistreating nobody. So what did the Messiah say? He said, it is not what goes into the mouth of a man that defiles him, it's what comes out of him. It's what comes out of him. You know, I saw something today, y'all. I'm gonna share this, and I'm gonna get back to the video. I'm gonna show y'all the videos, and then we can wrap up. What did the Messiah say? He said, it's not what goes into the mouth of a man that defiles him, but what comes out of his mouth. Now, I was watching a YouTube video this morning, and I'm washing the dishes, whatever, and I just got my headphones on, whatever. So it's playing over there. Y'all know the ads pop up. A Joyce Myers ad pops up, and I'm listening to it. I'm just letting it play, whatever. I don't want to walk over my soap on my hands, whatever, skip, whatever. I'm listening to it because what she's putting down, I'm like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And she mentions this scripture in there. And she gives the example as she's speaking. A lot of y'all, if you don't know who Joyce Myers is, she's a female Christian pastor. Okay. She says she was giving this example of, and she's big women's ministries or whatever. But for whatever reason, I ain't gonna say for whatever reason, because I knew what it was. The Most High wanted me to talk about this tonight. Otherwise, I wouldn't have heard that example. That's why I heard it, because I ain't never heard a Joyce Myers ad. I can't tell you if I've ever heard a Joyce Myers ad while listening to a YouTube video. I hear a lot of other ones, but I heard her. And so she's giving that example of that scripture and supporting it, or she reads that scripture and then she supports it with an example. It's not what goes into the person's mouth, but what comes out of it. She mentions this example of this lady who's constantly talking about, oh, she's addicted to sugar. She's addicted to sugar. And she says, what is coming out of your mouth is keeping you addicted to sugar. She said, why don't you change it up and start saying, you know, she's talking about people that say they can't lose weight or whatever, but they're always talking about even that, saying that they can't lose weight. She said, watch what comes out of your mouth. She said what you probably what she said what the lady should have been saying is, I don't have a sugar addiction. In fact, I can't eat too many sweets. If I eat too many, I don't after a while. I don't even. Matter of fact, I don't even like sweets anymore. Why am I? She said, change what you're saying. It's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out. I understand that's not exactly the way the Messiah put it, but that was a great example. That was a great example. So, you know, and I said this on my other channel. I said, our emotions are driven by the moon cycles. We know that. Okay. I got a whole playlist of moon videos and what you should be doing during a new moon versus a full moon, blah, 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 blah. I know that the moon is the governor of the heart chakra, and your moon sign talks about how you experience emotion. Okay. But that being said, regardless of the fact that the moon is the ordinance, as Jeremiah 31 calls it, regardless of the fact that the moon is the ordinance that governs our emotions, you still, with your mouth, have the power to command your day. You don't have to let your emotions override you. You have the power with your words, John 1:1-5. You have the power with your words to command your day. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So you activate the God within you by speaking up your mouth and opening up your mouth and speaking and commanding that which you want to happen for you. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna say that, and then I'm gonna keep it moving now. I just wanted to share that with somebody. That was for somebody. I don't know who that was for. Now, let me show you guys some videos here that talk about different things that you can do to different substances, different things. I went through a list of these things, and these are all microscope videos where people are showing you different substances and different things that people say that you know, well, does this work against parasites? So you got this whole channel on TikTok. I pulled a few of them videos in. Whole channel showing you different substances that they drop on a petri on a slide and show you how it deals with parasites. So I want y'all to check these out. Okay. And then I got another commentary video I'm gonna show at the end, and then we'll wrap up. I'll read some comments, we'll wrap up. Thank y'all for being here again. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm just gonna go from the top to the bottom. You know what? Let's go this way. Let's go from the way I pulled them in. I'll go bottom to top. Here we go. It's first video. 9 videos here, but they're short. Here we go.
All parasites are susceptible to electrical charge. They really don't like it. The interesting thing is healthy cells don't mind electrical charge. Remember, they are electrical. And so what happens is, this is DC current, keep in mind, it's not AC current. What happens is, because of the amount of electricity, which is very small, flowing through these tubes, it will actually kill off the parasites. And that's all types of parasites. That's worms, bacteria, amoeba, fungi, candida. All of these things react in a negative way to electricity. The healthy cells are strengthened by it. So while you're strengthening the healthy cells by raising the electrical potential of the body, you're also suppressing or even destroying the parasites. Another thing to keep in mind is virtually all toxins in the body are positively charged. Now, if you remember earlier, I spoke about the cell membrane is negatively charged. So let's picture here the cell membrane carrying a negative charge. Here you have a toxin carrying a positive charge. They will adhere. Opposites will attract. A lot of people will go on cleansing programs, and that's a good thing. But a much more effective way of cleansing the body is to introduce a stronger negative charge. And that's what we do here with the photon sound beam. By introducing this stronger negative charge, the positively charged toxin will simply disassociate from the cell membrane, combine with the negative charge of the electron, create a neutral molecule, and be placed into solution for elimination. I've seen healing experiences, I've seen a lot of them now, that would normally have taken months on a healing, cleansing type of protocol, take only days or even hours. And it happened to me as well. Another thing to consider is that your body has two fluid systems. You have the blood system and you have the lymphatic system. The blood system travels through the various arteries and veins in the body and delivers oxygen and nutrients to the cell. The lymphatic system draws away all of the residue, all of the debris, all of the waste material that the body uses in cellular respiration. The difference is the bloodstream has a heart, it has a pump, and that is what propels the blood through the body. But the lymphatic system doesn't have that. The only thing that moves the lymphatic system is motion. The problem is when you're not feeling well, you really don't feel like getting up and jumping on a trampoline or going out for a jog, do you? And so how do we get that lymphatic system to move and to do its job of cleansing the cells? The cells are swimming in this sea of fluid. Well, that lymphatic system is a saline or salty solution. Now, every time this device pulses, it's sending this electrical charge into the body, which causes a pulsating of the lymphatic system, moving it gently back and forth, cleansing the cells in the body, removing the debris. Hence, a much, much more effective cleansing over the whole body. So there we really have it. We have oxygenation, we have ozonation, we have raising of the electrical field, the electrical potential. All of these things are accomplished with a simple application every day. Most of these devices today are not grounded on solid research. This has over 100 years of solid research behind it, and thousands upon thousands and thousands more cases of people being healed by this.
Sound, frequency, and vibration. Sound, frequency, and vibration. Let's keep it going. All right, there's no speaking on this one, so I'm going to read it for the people that listen to me when they're driving, because I don't want you looking at your phone, okay? Especially in the winter weather. This says Parasites will be gone in one night, okay? Reading the video, YT police, okay? Reading the video. Parasites will be gone in one night. You notice itchy, let me pause it. It says, if you notice itchy skin, strange fatigue, or sudden food cravings, it says here it's a warning sign. And it says parasites may already be living inside you, and it's time to act. What does Matt think? Matt thinks that parasites are in everybody naturally, okay? Naturally. Okay? When a person dies, I wish if anybody watched me is worked at a funeral home or worked at a mortuary, let me know what, you guys in there doing the autopsy, whatever. Again, it's decaying tissue. I got to think that the parasites come as a part of the natural microbiome to reclaim that tissue. And anyway, let me keep going. It says here, don't miss these 4 effective over-the-counter things that cost next to nothing. It says, save this post so you don't lose it. Let's continue. And this is a video I downloaded from TikTok.
It's time to say goodbye until we meet.
It says pumpkin seeds are a natural dewormer, especially powerful against tapeworms. It says eat a handful on an empty stomach in the morning. This is not Matthew giving medical advice. This is Matthew reading what's on the screen. It says notice improvements in digestion within 3 to 5 days.
'Cause this is not the end. It will come a day.
It says garlic is an antimicrobial. It says garlic kills those things and strengthens immunity. It says perhaps you can crush 2 cloves and eat them raw before meals for 7 days.
We will find out.
Not my advice. I'm reading the screen.
Violins playing and the angels crying.
It says black walnut tincture. It says potent traditional remedy. It says take 15 drops in water twice a day. It says to do this for 10 days.
When the stars align, then I'll be there. No, I don't care about the road.
It says clove powder. It says it destroys the eggs of those things. It says take 1/4 teaspoon daily in warm water or tea. It says continue for 2 weeks for a full cleanse.
It's still the love, and all I care about is you. It's stuck on me like a tattoo. No, I don't care about the pain. I want
And that last thing says take your gut and health. Take care of your gut and health. Okay. All right. I managed to get through that. All right, next video. Okay, this is onion versus
Family, let's get straight into it. Today I'm going to show you how human parasites react when they come in contact with onions. Stay with me. Here's the onion. He's going to squeeze some of this onion juice out inside of this cup. Then he's going to use a dropper to extract it and then put it under the microscope so you can see how the parasites interact with the onion juice. So boom, the parasites have now came in contact with the onion juice. When the parasites encounter the microorganisms in the onion juice, they become very excited. Not for long. 5 minutes later, the parasites gradually calm down. They're like, man, what have you done to me? They tricked us out of our position, man. What did he put in our body? 15 minutes later, the onion juice will immediately destroy the inner ring structure of the parasites and break it down. 30 minutes later, the onion juice completely destroys the body structure of the parasites and break it down, family. And it's a reason why. We finna get into it. The first thing I want you to take from watching that video is either you are feeding the parasites or you are ridding the body of parasites. And if you're watching this video, you most likely have parasites, family, even if you can see them or if you cannot see them with a naked eye. Now, when it comes to onions, onions have some of the same similar sulfur compounds as garlic has, but onions has a compound in it called quercetin, and that's what makes it antimicrobial and antiparasitic, which makes the onion a good anti-parasitic food to consume. Onions are also good for boosting immunity to help fight off invaders like parasites, and also it gives you a healthy, good gut microbiome, which parasites do not like. With that being said, add some raw onion to your diet, family, then brush your teeth out. I love y'all. I'm out.
All right, next video. I'm just going to run through these so we can wrap up. Now, this was my favorite. This one was probably my favorite. And I got to tell y'all, I had a little protocol I used using this next one when I was dealing with the C word. DOC, dead on contact. And that bromelain, the bromelain is the natural enzyme in the pineapple that breaks down protein. So I learned about it years ago when we went to I used to have a client out in Hawaii, And we went to the Dole plantation out there and took a tour of the pineapple plantation. They were talking to us and telling us how much pineapple the Hawaiians eat, and that they eat it almost daily because they have a high meat diet out there. But the enzyme in pineapple breaks down protein, so it helps them to digest that meat. As you saw in that video there, it not only killed the parasite, the worm, it also destroyed the eggs inside of it. So, and as we get on, you're going to see at the end there, they tell you there's some other things you need to do, because when that stuff gets released in your blood system, you got to make sure you flush it by having something bind to it so that it can be carried out of the body, so it doesn't reconstitute into the bloodstream and still cause like toxicity, that sort of thing, whatever. It's been very interesting videos. All right, this is raw honey. Now that part's kind of scary. It killed the mother, but it looked like the kids was like, what's happening out there? So I don't know. Now, I mean, I don't see too much swimming with the kids that came out through either. So I don't know, but that one was pretty interesting. All right, let's go to the next one. Sea salt. Sea salt. Sea salt. You're the salt of the earth. Now we're seeing why salt preserved the meat back in the day on those ocean-going voyages. Let's keep going. All right, this one is interesting. I want y'all to see this. This is sugar. Yeah. Yeah. So when you're dealing with certain conditions, what you don't want to do is feed the thing. That was one thing I completely cut out after I got diagnosed back in 2011. I was like, okay, y'all starving. I ain't feeding y'all nothing. Period. Boom. Y'all done. Let me keep going. All right. I got a couple more. Y'all, turmeric is that's an ingredient. I put turmeric in my coffee. I do. I put turmeric and cayenne pepper in my coffee daily whenever I drink it. And one of the things I noticed is that I got put onto it by going to a coffee shop some years ago, and they had a latte there with it had turmeric, cayenne and cinnamon in it. So I was like, all right, let me try that. I liked it. I started doing it at home. But who knew? Here's cayenne pepper. If this was Mortal Kombat, it would have been finish him. Flawless victory. Fatality. All right, y'all. I got a couple more. And we're done. These are a couple more I just added. I just added these, y'all. Because some people have probably heard about tequila, liquor against parasites. Now, I will tell you this before I show you this video. I watched a few. I'm just showing you the tequila one. I watched a few, and there seems to be a difference between white liquor versus brown liquor. I'm gonna show it to you. Actually, I'm gonna show you the other one first. I'm gonna show you the one without the lemon and the salt in it. Tequila impact how you move too. Did the tequila kill him or did it get him drunk? All right, let me show you the one now with the lemon. Now, before I show this as a disclaimer, I did look at one that was lemon juice versus Parasites, and the lemon juice did nothing to him. The lemon juice by itself did nothing. Now, remember the salt by itself. So I think that was a potent combination of the two, but it looked like the sea salt would have done the trick by itself if judging by the other video. So now, let me check my notes because I think we're about done.
Again, I'm not like a healthcare person. I have researched this a lot, but I'm not like a holistic health professional. I just know like what works for me. And I'm just giving you an idea of a routine that you can replicate if you'd like to, or like just if you're curious to see what I'm doing, that's all. I've also seen a lot of people online saying that God is waking them up to this, which I think is really interesting because I have felt like a major push from God to talk about these things, because I feel like a lot of Christians kind of like stray away from it because they feel like it's like, I don't know, like hokey pokey, like new age, hippie, I don't know. I like supplements and stuff because I want to make sure that I'm like taking care of my body to the best of my ability. Let's get the conversation going and take the stigma away from taking care of our health with the things that God placed here for us to do so, instead of relying on big pharma.
That part. All right, y'all. Listen, this is why you got to come live. Anybody watching this on demand, that last video, I'm just not even gonna play with it. I don't even want to roll the dice on it. I've seen what they've done on this platform before, so that last video is going to be trimmed out, so people watching the replay won't see that one. But maybe I'll put a link in the comment or something where they can look at that video on TikTok via the link. So that's all I got, y'all. That's all I got, y'all. And I got some more videos with the people talking about binding and that sort of thing. I'll show one more. I'll show one more real quick, and that's not it. Hang on. Where is it? No. It's not showing. Oh, wait a sec. Hang on. Where is it? Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but that is quite okay. I'm not worried about it unless it's this one. No, that's not it. Yeah, I ain't worried about y'all. So listen, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Listen, I'm gonna go back through the comments really quick, y'all, and then thank y'all for being here tonight. I hope that for that subscriber that had that question, this was a great topic to cover. So hopefully it helps you all. And it definitely, doing the research definitely helped me. It showed me that there's some things that I'm doing that have me on the right track, and there's some things that I could actually be adding to my toolkit. So let's see, where's a good place to pick up here with the comments. Let's see. I'll jump in right here. It's a good spot right there. God frequency 963 hertz. That's a good one if you want to get downloads. I'll listen to that one when I'm meditating. So that is a good one, Sonic Smile. And thank y'all for being again tonight. I appreciate you guys being here. She says parasites can be a signal warning to let us know that something is wrong. We must pay attention to symptoms ASAP. We must find out why the parasites were activated. Exactly. Let's see. And she said, if my toe hurts, I want to know why. That's funny. Let's see. Let's get through it. Candida bacteria build up. Yep, that is true. And y'all, that again, I didn't show all of the videos, but I saw a couple of other adult beverage videos, and I'm not certainly telling anybody to go out and buy any adult beverages. I will say, for me personally, when cold season comes in, I keep a bottle of something, because what I found is that certain adult beverages with some salt and some raw honey and a little bit of lemon or lime, whatever, that when you feel symptoms coming on, especially up in here or anything like that, or your upper chest, I've noticed that knocks that right out. That stops the problem before it starts. So I keep something on deck as medicine. So just an ounce and a half, 2 ounces, or 1 ounce, whatever, with that sea salt. So that again showed me I was going down the right path with that. And the raw honey thing, I didn't expect to see that with the parasites, because I was like, well, raw honey, I'm thinking it's sugar. They're gonna eat that, but they ate the sugar. Sugar's processed. Raw honey comes from nature, so raw honey must vibrate at a frequency that destroys them. Everything is about frequency, y'all. Everything is about vibrational frequency. So I thought that was interesting. But again, getting back to the adult beverage videos, from what I saw on that channel, and you guys go back, rewatch this, and write down that TikTok channel name, and then go back and check some of those other videos out. But from what I saw, it looked like the white liquor destroyed or inhibited the parasites, and the brown liquor, they ate that up. I saw whiskey, whatever, all of the whiskey videos I saw, they ate that up. However, all of the liquor videos seem to stop the bacteria, but they all didn't work against the parasites. So just thought I'd add that. I didn't want to show you guys like 20 videos tonight or whatever. So just wanted to let you know that. Probiotic acidophilus for maintaining bacterial gut flora. That's a good one. I do probiotics as well, Lady Dagestatus. Eating fortified foods help. Yep. Words have power. Yes, they do, Bernadette. Yes, they do. You got it. You can command your day. You always can. You got to know that. Pardon me, y'all. Sometimes I laugh because I think it's me lying, but I will say the positive and mean it to correct my thought, because I love sweets, making cinnamon rolls right now. Yeah, I like, listen, you know what? Let me say something about that. There is this thing I've heard out there where certain people are so high vibrational that when they are preparing food for people, it really doesn't matter what it is. They pour their love frequency from their heart chakra into the process of making that food. And when people eat it, they feel better. I've heard people tell me that, and I've actually eaten some of my own cooking and just felt energized. But it's because when I'm preparing it, I'm putting a lot of love into it. And my intent is that anybody that eats it, it makes their day. It makes them feel good. It makes their day. So if you're making a cinnamon roll with high vibrational intent and you pouring your love into it, I guarantee you anybody that eats it is going to feel good eating it. So there's something to that. There is something to that. She said it's so crazy how the universe works. I have a candida cleanse, and I looked at it last week saying I'm going to start it soon. Did the 1 day of juices, and here's this live. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Yeah, the only thing pumpkin, that's good. The seed milk. Yeah, I still don't get with people with these pumpkin spice lattes and stuff. I don't get it. Though I do, I do like a pumpkin spice donut or a pumpkin spice pound cake, but the beverages, nah, I ain't feeling that. You have to drink enough water throughout the day. You have to drink water. You have to. Anytime, water keeps everything moving. Papaya seeds kill some. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Said, who grew up with whomever parent putting onions in the socks when you got sick? My mother used to soak vinegar in washcloths and put it on our forehead to break fever. And one time as an adult, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but I learned about the healing power of onions. I had flu or something, and I don't get ill at all. It's very rare. It's very rare. Like anytime I get something like that, it'll be like maybe once every 5-6 years, something. It's very rare, very rare. And I'm usually like my body's worn down, and I'm pushing myself past I've stopped that. I've learned to start resting and sitting down so I don't get sat down. But that one particular time, I took about 4 onions, cut them in half. I put them on a nightstand, put them around the bed, because I've heard what onions do to your auric field. And I'm gonna tell you, when I woke up the next morning, those onions were like all drawn up like this and just like changed color, but I felt so much better. So yeah, there's something to that thing with onions. There's something to it. I didn't put them in the socks, but I've had them around the bed before when I was feeling like terrible and felt great the next morning. Know the simple items really help. It's a beautiful thing. Yep, that is true. Salt has amazing benefits. Sea salt, Celtic, Epsom. Yeah, I don't do the Celtic. The Celtic thing scared me one time. I ain't gonna lie. It looked too much like, I'm gonna say it looked too much like human ash, like remains. I was just like, what is this? For some reason, the frequency didn't go with me. I'm a pink Himalayan guy, but you got to do what works for you. You got to do what works for you. And thank you. Those are I wanted to pull those in to help you guys out and just share some things that I saw. So yeah, seeing it does hit different. She said it's great information. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Avoid eating foods with yeast. I've heard that. Wow, I never saw cayenne pepper under the microscope. I take that with olive oil. I love cayenne pepper. I love it. Like I said, I put it in my coffee. Let's see. The cayenne acts fast. Instant death. Let's see. I'm skipping the PlayStation content. I know y'all were just having that conversation between yourselves. Let's see. She said she's been listening the whole time, but she's too squeamish to see it. That's funny. Let's see. I think we are about through. She said, do please research on herbs for cleanses before doing it and know the side effects. Absolutely. Yep. Capri said, I got charcoal toothpaste. I've used that before too. And she did say it has to be pure cold pressed castor oil. Yes, because they got some stuff out there that's got other stuff in it. And you're very welcome, Sonic Smile. Thank you for being here. She said she uses charcoal powder and coconut oil when doing an oil pull or tooth. I'm guessing you mean oil pulling, Lady Dagger Status. It's infused with clove water. Yeah, clove water with the mouthwash. She said, yes, I was so thankful to learn about the issues with antiperspirant. We are supposed to sweat. We are, yes. And when you eat clean, you don't stink, you don't need much. That is so true. That is so very true. Y'all are so welcome. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Thank y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that were here. Yep. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for the question. Y'all got something y'all want me to cover? I can't say I'm gonna cover every single thing, but y'all bring it in. Y'all bring it in because if it resonates, I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna cover it. So thank y'all. Let's see. Been doing high vibrate, high beating them wings and pollinating flowers. So yes, that bee honey is high frequency. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yep. Preparing food with lots of love. I don't want food from someone who's aggravated. Nope. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all I got. Listen, y'all hit the like button on your way out if you haven't done so. If you're new to the channel and you like these types of updates, you like being entertained, educated, uplifted, and inspired, hit that subscribe button and make sure your notification bell set to all so you'll be notified when I'm live or when I upload new content. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. It's a noun as well, but when we focus on the verb, the noun takes care of itself. And last but not least, destiny. Your destiny is looking for the authentic version of you. So authenticity is the only way you are going to arrive at and achieve your destined purpose for this life. If you are not operating in the energy of authenticity, your destiny cannot be fulfilled. It can't be because your destiny is tied to the authentic version of you. All right. So y'all stay warm, stay safe. If you're in the Southeastern United States and y'all got dumped on with that snow, if you ain't got to go out on them streets, stay home. All right. I love you guys. You have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.